Welcome to my channel, Almost Angels. I am your host, Amber. I wanted to share a little bit about what inspired me to name my channel Almost Angels and a little bit about what it will be about. And so 7 years ago this month in April, I was asked to give a talk at a Women's Day conference about health. It was very broad. I'm a registered nurse. I have a master's in epidemiology. And it happened to be a church event. I chose the topic of divine identity, and I worked really hard on it. I am not a natural born speaker by any stretch of the imagination. I actually have pretty severe anxiety around public speaking. I tried to get out of it. I actually thought they had the wrong Amber because there's another person in our congregation who's much more gifted and eloquent at speaking in public. And so I decided I would decline because I was petrified and had 2 young children, a full-time job. I homeschool. I was like, I don't really need this in my life. My husband, in all his wisdom, told me that he felt that the women needed to hear the message that I had. And so he encouraged me to just go forth on faith that I was asked for a reason. And I'm so glad I did. I spent 2 months toiling over the topic. I wanted it to be not cliche, but from the depths of who I am as a person, which I often felt like there's very few people on the planet who knew who that person was. And I came up with, I studied speech. I studied the art of giving a good speech. I watched TED Talks because I had 15 minutes, but also watched on how to do a TED Talk. I mean, when I research something, I research something. That is my job currently. Actually, I work full time in a place where we do research, medical research. So anyways, 2 months later, I turned myself inside out and came up with a 15-minute talk that I had memorized verbatim, the inflections, everything. It was authentic in its essence, but the delivery was a full performance. I didn't sleep a wink the night before, but I laid down and I felt like that was enough. And I got up and gave my performance of this authentically born piece of me. You know, it was me. I wish that I could have been, more present in the moment when I gave it, but I feel like it still went out into the universe and made waves, because afterwards I had women lined up. I mean, women were bawling. They were lined up to talk to me. And I was getting emails and phone calls for days afterward, weeks afterwards, actually. People asked if I had a transcript of it. They encouraged me to do a blog on it. And I never did anything with it until now. But I've sat on it for years, just thinking about what was it about that message that resonated so deeply with so many women that I admire and respect immensely. I was really surprised, really, with the response. But some people suggested that I become a public speaker, at which I was like, that was not me up there. That was a performance. I don't know that public speaking is a gift if you have to put that much effort in. The reason I vehemently said that I am grateful that I followed my husband's prompting is because I was so spent afterwards that I had some sort of inflammatory response. I had been previously diagnosed with fibromyalgia. I don't know, but I was in bed for 10 days. I just had pain all over my body. I've had a lot of episodes like that in my life. And I just sort of wrote it for what it was. But it threw off my menstrual cycles. And we conceived our 3rd child, which was completely unplanned. And so to this day, I'm like, he was my bonus baby. I mean, like I said, unplanned. So it was a surprise, but I was happy, I was happy. And he's 6 now. Such a joy and delight and all the things that children are. But I'm always just so grateful that I was asked, that my husband encouraged me to go on faith, and that faith resulted in my joy, my little Timothy, and that here I am today, like continuing to ponder what resonated so deeply about that message. And I think the undertones of living your authentic self and the really call to action that I had given to the women for helping to heal this, what I called this epidemic of loneliness, and not just me, the Surgeon General has called it that as well. I mean, since then I've taken, a lot deeper dives into my faith and what it means to be faithful, and religion, and some of the ways that I feel like that was the way that I was practicing it was harmful to really having an authentic connection with myself and others around me. And so I just invite you to come along with me on this journey. I will continue to have little snippets of things that I'm learning as I explore myself more on deeper levels. I've done a lot of inner child work. I've done a lot of subconscious kind of reprogramming. I teach my children about faith and self-acceptance and authentic presence in ways that that speak to a 6-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 12-year-old, but that I've also have multiple adults in my life who are often very, very moved and touched by the analogies that I give. It's because I homeschool that I come up with these analogies, but I found that they resonate with people of all walks of life, and of all ages. And so I hope that that it will resonate with you, and that it continues to do so. So thank you for listening, and I look forward to hearing from you now and in the days to come.